Hello and welcome back to another episode of DTF with Frankie and Herb.
My name is Frankie.
And I guess that means I'm Herb. Before we get started with today's episode, we're excited to announce that as of today, we're adding a brand new segment to our show called Movie Review Monday. Every week, we'll be reviewing a different movie and sharing our thoughts and opinions with you all.
That's right, Herb. Whether it's a classic film or a new release, we'll be giving you our honest takes on what we liked, what we didn't like, and most importantly, it'll be spoiler free.
We know how much you guys love hearing our thoughts on movies, and we're thrilled to be able to dedicate a whole segment to it. So be sure to tune in every Monday for Movie Review Monday.
And if you all have any suggestions or requests, be sure to let us know on our social media pages at Discuss the Film on Instagram and Twitter. We love hearing from you guys and want to make sure we're reviewing the movies that you want to hear about.
Thanks for listening, and as of right now, we are kicking off Movie Review Monday starting in...
Today, we will be discussing the recently released Netflix movie, The Strays. It was released on February 22nd, 2023. Now, Herb, I gotta tell you, I really like this movie. But what was crazy to me is that we couldn't find much on the writer-director, Nathaniel Martello White, while we were doing our research for this movie. We couldn't find much on him. Like, he's no stranger to the industry, right? He's got a few acting credits. It goes back to 2007, 2008. It says he had a part in this really good show called Misfits. He had a part in the historical movie Red Tails. He even had a part in the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants Part 2.
I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't seen none of those movies.
But when it came to his writing and directing stuff, I would definitely call him like a newcomer in that part of the industry because he's only got 3 credits under his name, but Netflix picked him up for this movie.
Yeah, that was definitely something that stood out for me as well because usually, at least normally, I would think if I'm watching something on Netflix, it's because whoever wrote it or directed it, has some weight in the game,
Yeah, so I think this one, it sounds like Nathaniel may have had somebody in those offices.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was something that I heard about Netflix as well. That Netflix doesn't have like a regular. Well, I'm gonna say regular. I mean, look at the time we're in now. Everybody's trying to be someone. But
Exactly.
if you want to get something done in Netflix, you have to have somebody within the industry. So he definitely has some type of hookup because.
How do you know that you can't just get in there?
What you mean?
How do you know you need somebody?
I looked it up.
Okay.
That's all I can say. what do you think? I know somebody? You think I'd be here with you right now?
But while not much has been done with Nathaniel, based on how we felt when we were done watching this movie, and man, we definitely hope to see more of him.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. When we were doing our research into this movie, we came across this interview of Nathaniel that he was giving, and one thing that he mentioned was that some events in this movie was based on a true story or something like that.
Yeah, I recall that interview. I recall what you're talking about. But I wouldn't say it was based on true events, right? I would say more it's inspired by true events because he tells us in that interview that he was able to create this entire script based on something he had overheard in conversation. So, with that person's permission, he asked if he could use that story, and he was able to make an entire script based off of a conversation in which he heard somebody did what the main character in this film does as well. And man,
wow,
to be able to make an entire script off of a conversation you overheard, the talent speaks for itself right there.
Yeah, man, that's like top tier eavesdropping,
Oh my goodness.
Jesus. Can you imagine being tapped on the shoulder after having a serious conversation? Be like, hey, I just heard everything. I'm a writer and director.
Oh my goodness. I don't, bro. I'd be so, if that were to happen to me, I'd be so confused on, like on one hand, this guy is rude. On the other hand,
there's an opportunity.
I could get paid.
Yeah, right. But one thing that he also mentioned in the interview was that we'll get to the main character a little bit later. But one thing that he mentioned was that the main character suffers from a narcissistic personality disorder, unfortunately. And have you ever encountered anyone with this disorder by any chance? Like, Narciss,
If
narciss,
I had,
narcissism.
I couldn't say. I don't know if
Mm.
I have dealt with anybody with that narcissistic stuff.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Well, one thing for sure is to quote Nathaniel, he said, when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, you realize that they cannot handle or grasp the feeling of others. Since they're constantly thinking of themselves, they have no space to worry about how you feel or what it
Wow.
is that you're telling them, you know? Which was very interesting that he said that because that's exactly what this character, Neve, was all about in this entire film, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Let us get into a brief summary of this movie.
Absolutely.
This story follows a woman who, dissatisfied with her current existence, decides to abandon her life in pursuit of something more fulfilling. Despite being oblivious to or indifferent about those she may have abandoned, she begins anew. However, her newfound peace is disrupted by the arrival of outsiders in her new suburban community. This unexpected arrival shocks her when she realizes how much of her past has come back for some answers. Ultimately, her actions catch up to her, and she must confront the consequences of her choices and take responsibility for her behavior, leading to a world of trouble.
Trouble's right, man. Let's talk a little bit about the movie.
For sure. For sure, man. So, what I liked about this movie in just the opening,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just the opening is that I think it sets us off for a really good story later on in the film because it kind of opens in conflict, right? She's already pouring out this emotion while she's on the phone, visibly upset, clearly angry
Yeah,
about something that's going
she was
on,
stressing.
in tears on the phone with someone,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah,
she cries out, "Just look at how they're being treated."
right.
And when she says that line, you see the camera pass over these newspapers that she, I guess, was reading or something,
Mm-hmm.
and it seems to be some sort of racial issue.
Yeah,
Like it's clear that you're looking at a black woman on the phone, and she's upset about something. She has this newspaper in front of her, and clearly there's racial tension
yeah.
right in the opening.
That's her issue. And after she is on that phone, she hangs up. You know, she actually said that she's gonna go to the hairdresser. She leaves the house, and next you know, the house phone rings, and voicemail comes along, and it sounds like it's her husband because he's just all like, "Hey, you know, where are you? You were supposed to be here. Where you at? You know, nowhere to be found." And she just said that she's going to the hairdresser. So it's, you know, it gives you that question right away. What is she doing? Where is she actually going? You know, what is she up to?
Exactly. So now, like you said, all these questions just sitting there, and what we learn very soon, right? The movie jumps into a new scene, and we're introduced to a new character, right? We very immediately learn that she has left a life behind.
Right.
What did she leave behind? We don't know. But we're introduced to the same woman and she goes by a different name. Right? We're introduced to the character named Neve. We learn that this woman has a family consisting of two teens,
Yeah.
one son, one daughter, and she's also the principal of a high school.
So she really just dipped her old life, you know? And when she left the house and it transitions into that scene where we see this new character that she goes by, Neve, it's just said years later. We don't yet know how long it's been, but like you said, she has
Exactly.
a husband and she has two teens, a boy and a daughter. So that gives you the idea it's definitely been more than 10 years, more than 15, if anything, you know? And that question keeps circulating. What did she leave behind? Obviously, we found out that she had a husband or boyfriend or whatever, but what else did she leave behind?
Right? We mentioned the racial issue at the top of this.
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing her do these things. She has a morning routine, puts on some makeup, she takes these pills, and she opens a closet with these wigs in there.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like
she
she has different identities.
exactly that's what it seems like when you
Yeah.
see so many wigs in a closet and whatnot,
All
or
right.
in film anyways. That's just a regular thing now, but in film,
Yeah, yeah.
multiple wigs means multiple identities.
Right. So she basically has this new life compared to her old one. We saw her in the beginning all stressed and upset, and actually she was crying. And in this very next scene, she's all happy and seems like she's living this perfect life. You did mention that she's a principal at the school. And one thing that we find out later is that everyone around her is white. You know, she's in a white community, her husband's white, and it looks like everyone in the school is white as well because we are then introduced to a janitor who happens to be black. And when she lays her eyes on him, Bro, her eyes lit up. You remember that part?
Yeah, like the fear in her eyes, and it was better displayed in the film with the music that was playing as well.
Yeah.
Like she had fear in her eyes, but the music that was playing when that happened was just so ominous, dark,
Mm-hmm.
terrifying.
Yeah. And bro, she panics when she sees that the janitor's talking to her son. She panics and just acts like if the one thing that she's been trying to avoid is all up in her face again, you know?
Yeah,
And with this new community, this new life, this new job, she's avoiding her black culture, it seems like.
yeah. Again, the racial undertones that the movie is giving is exactly saying that. She's frustrated at one side of the situation. At the beginning of the movie, she seems to have found a solution and is now brought up with what she sees as a problem,
Right.
and it just happens to be a black guy in the middle of it.
The way you say it.
Yeah.
But immediately start questioning, does she know him? As a matter of fact, is he even real? Because there are some scenes where she'll turn around, look back, and he's not there.
Hmm.
So for me, immediately I thought, oh, it's all in her head.
I'll say, even in this scene that you just talked about, it still seems like it could be something in her head, right? Which I think is one of the good things about this movie, because while it is suspense, it also gives the tone, the feelings of a psychological thriller,
Ooh, that's
right?
right. Yeah.
It's giving that feeling of a psychological thriller if she's running away from a problem and she just starts seeing this person out of nowhere. It's a new person,
Mm-hmm.
right? And everyone in the school, when this janitor is cleaning up, nobody's interacting with him.
Yeah, everybody's minding their business.
Exactly.
She's the only
Everyone's
one that
just
has a problem.
exactly. So is it a person that she has an issue with, or is it something in her head that is you know manifesting her fears in human form?
Yeah.
It's giving those psychological thriller
Yeah,
vibes.
yeah, and the big question is, who is he? We get a little bit more of him and another character that he's with. As a matter of fact, she eventually goes home and finds out that her husband hired a new employee for their business, right? And we find out that she is also black. So now she starts realizing that okay, something's up. Something's, at least in her way of seeing it, something's wrong. There's more black people around, and she's the only one that has an issue with it.
So up to this point in the film, I think that the racial thing is only a theory. That's what I believe. I believe that the
Right.
racial thing is only a theory as far as what the movie could be about and whatnot. But there's a scene in the movie where I feel like the plot is actually confirmed. It's a dinner party, and they're just in mid conversation, and you hear them say, "Oh, well, I heard about this new phenomenon called white flight, where white people are leaving urban areas for suburban areas."
Right.
And I think that up to that entire point in the movie, while it's just a theory, now that they said that line, for me, I felt like it was confirmed that that's what it was about. So after the dinner party, she wakes up in the middle of the night and appears to be in a nightmare. In this scene, I got to tell you, I liked it because we were just introduced to two people, the janitor at her school and the young lady at her job, or at her husband's job, you know, and now she feels like she's seeing things in this thing that we learn to be a nightmare. The walls are actually like tearing apart
It's
in the
cracking.
background.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was cracking. The cracks was everywhere, and it wasn't stopping. It was going all over the house. I remember that part.
yeah. So it's another part of the storytelling where she feels like she's in this time in her life where her world is literally crumbling away.
Yeah, a little after that, we find out who these two characters are, who goes by Carl and Dion.
Exactly. Carl and Dion, when they're actually introduced by name, a lot of scenes that happen in the movie that seem nonchalant, uh, they have some questions that are answered with the introduction of these two characters. After that, everything comes to an all-time high where she
Mm-hmm.
is confronted by Carl and Dion
Yeah,
at an event, and man,
that's that goes down.
exactly, man. Without giving too much away, I want to jump to the final scene in the movie.
Okay,
I want to jump
absolutely.
to the final scene in the movie because the final scene. So we know that this is a suspense film,
Yeah.
and the final scene is filled with so much intensity.
Yeah.
Like this movie absolutely carries the weight that comes behind the title of suspense.
Absolutely, man. I remember that's actually when you told me that this is the purpose of a suspense film, because I was just sitting on the edge of the couch, just like, bro, I told you, I don't like this. I don't like how slow this is going. Hurry up, like, do something, And that's when you looked at me and you said, that's the suspense. And
Yeah,
I was like,
they got
oh,
you.
I was
You
like, that,
didn't even realize you were getting got.
exactly. And that's when I was like, you know what? Let me just chill. This is a good movie. The fact that I got like that made me know that I liked the movie. I may not have liked the whole movie itself, or in certain scenes, but the suspense got me.
For sure. And if anybody listening thinks that they know how this movie is gonna end, I'll let you know right now.
Yeah, big
You're
no.
wrong.
Yeah, big time wrong.
You,
Absolutely.
if
I
you
didn't see that coming.
if you think you know how this movie is gonna end, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely want to test that with people, because a lot of people always think, oh, I never watch movies because I already know how it's gonna end. All right, watch this one. Let me know what you think, how you think it's gonna end.
So with that, overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts, I liked it. I liked it for a movie that I typically try to avoid this type of genre. I like this film. I would recommend it. I would give it 6.5 out of 10. I guess I would say. Again, I don't really like this type of genre, so that's just my rating for it.
I share a lot of those same sentiments because it's a genre that I typically avoid. I absolutely enjoyed this movie, and I think I should take on a few more suspense films if they're written this well. I love this movie because it got me.
Yeah.
All the questions that we
Oh yeah.
had during the movie, I didn't just have these questions and turn off the movie because I was exhausted of having
Mm-hmm.
questions. I stayed to get those answers. And, I got them. I
Yeah.
got all the answers. And I really enjoyed this movie. I'll say this, though.
Well, what's your rating? 1 out of 10.
Out of 10,
Yeah. Or 105 if that's what you want. Give me 1 to 10. Yeah.
out of 10, I'll give it an 8.
An 8.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
8 out of 10, right? Because acting was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Acting was phenomenal. The camera angles that they had, the tone, message of the movie,
Mm-hmm.
it was really great.
My favorite in the film was Dion's character, bro. She
Yeah,
she was amazing. She flipped off a couple times, and she didn't oversell it, but it was great. I thought her acting was amazing, and shout out to her.
for sure, man. So, the last thing I'll say about this movie is that there is the possibility for an underlying message about the dangers of black people.
Mm-hmm.
The possibility is there, but if you're just going to watch it to enjoy it, you'll absolutely do that. Enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
So that was our review for the recently released Netflix film The Strays.
We truly hope you guys take the time to watch this movie. Again, it is on Netflix. If you do not have a Netflix account, that's perfectly okay. Visit us on Twitter and Instagram at Discuss the Film. I will be posting Frankie's username and password.
And while you're there, give us a follow.
Give us a follow.
Once again, I'm Frankie.
And I'm Herb. We'll talk to you again soon.